So we're here with John Lee, who is a retired Delta pilot,
Correct.
Delta captain,
Yes.
and you flew international flights, correct?
Yes.
For how long did you do that?
31 years.
My goodness, all based out of Seattle or where?
No, the airline business is amazing. Started out in Dallas, moved to Portland, and over the years commuted Atlanta, New York, LA, Seattle, and an amazing career to see the world courtesy of the airlines.
Now you're running in the primary right now for the 18th Legislative Senate seat, correct?
Correct.
And have you had legislative experience before or any elected office?
Not in the manner in which you're asking. I served the Delta pilots as a member of their board of directors, their union leadership, for 5 years, and my position also put me as a member of the board of directors of the Airline Pilots Association, the national union that represented 60,000 pilots.
So you're no stranger to politics then?
Exactly.
So you've been very politically active. I've seen you a lot of city council meetings, a lot of port of Camas-Washougal meetings, and you're very dialed into the transportation issues of the day. And so we're at the end of the GOP gubernatorial candidate forum here at Shangri-La Farm, and you guys talked about transportation tonight. What struck you from the candidates in that discussion?
It was a great discussion, and it's an opener, and clearly transportation is a hugely important issue to Southwest Washington citizens. We've got 70,000 plus Clark County residents that commute to Oregon for work in a non-COVID era. Clearly that's changed most recently. But those people need traffic congestion relief. And at the end of the day, the name of the game is Portland has a dozen bridges across the Willamette River. We need more than 2 bridges across the Columbia River. And so amongst the candidates, the discussion is, well, how do you fund it? Is it responsible to fund a replacement of the Interstate 5 bridge when transportation resources are scarce? Or should we focus our scarce resources on a 3rd bridge? And there was a variety of points expressed tonight, but the most important thing is that the candidates are aware we have needs here in Southwest Washington, and I applaud that going forward.
Where would you put that 3rd bridge or 4th bridge?
Delightfully, our own Regional Southwest Transportation Council, known as the RTC, did a study back in 2008, the RTC Visioning Study, and they projected forward to 2050 population growth, business growth, the needs of the greater Portland metro area, and they identified the needs for 2 additional bridge crossings, 2 transportation corridors. And most incredibly and responsibly, they proposed 2 different options for each of those new bridge corridors. So they gave 2 options for East County bridges east of I-205 and 2 options for bridges west of I-5. And so I would delightfully support any one of those 4 options. And the honest answer is we need 2 new bridges across the Columbia River, one east of I-5 or west of I-5 and one east of I-205.
Now, getting into politics is a blood sport. Why do you want to get into it?
Well, the honest answer is to do the right thing to serve the people. I see so much money being wasted by our government at various levels. And one of the things that I believe is that regardless of the political spectrum, whether you're liberal, whether you're moderate, whether you're independent or conservative, wherever your money goes in the government, I think you would like to have it spent responsibly and efficiently. And so that's something that I think most citizens can rally around and very much support. Most recently, one of the things that I've dug into and fought for was the aspect of the roundabout here in the city of Camas. And actually...
The one at Lake and Everett Road?
Yes, exactly right. Thank you for that specific. And so I dug into the documents and found that the city had paid a consultant to look at the traffic congestion there. And in 2012, that consultant looked at various options and said, you know, the cheapest, most cost-effective option for citizens is a $2 million roundabout. And they said the other most likely option is adding a lane on Everett and a fancier new light signal there, but that'd cost $5 million. So we recommend the $2 million cheaper option. And somehow from 2012 till today, we have morphed from the most cost-efficient $2 million roundabout to where we're spending $8 million. And I have nothing against roundabouts. I think they're wonderful. But the fact is, number one, we're spending $8 million on it. And number two, the most startling and stunning thing to me was the fact that $2 million of that $8 is going to a consultant, when that $2 million should have been the entire solution. And so when you reveal those kind of problems and solutions to the people, and the fact that somehow we unbelievably increased 4 times the value of what our tax dollars are paying for, that's not a solution. That's some kind of a boondoggle that just doesn't make sense. And so, in a sense, as a pit bull on things and digging into the details, I'm happy to let the people know about it. And ultimately, it's the people's money. They should weigh in. And if they think there's value in it, then we can go forward. And if they think there's no value in it, then I'm happy to lead the charge to kill it.
Now, what's another reason you want to run? We've talked about transportation, accountability, managing funds and things like that. What's another reason you want to run?
So there's a whole host of things, but at the end of the day, pocketbook issues are what hit home the most to the voters. And clearly, one of the things that hits home the most right now is property taxes. We've got an awful lot of our citizens facing hard times, either layoffs or problems with their employment or concerns about the health of their company. And so citizens are very much making difficult decisions with their family budgets. And property taxes are one of their largest expenses to government that they have no control over. At the end of the day, half of the state budget goes to K-12 education. That's an awful lot of money. And the issue was, in the McCleary decision, the state wasn't paying its fair share. And so the concept over 8 years was that the state was going to increase its contribution to education so that the local property tax level, we could reduce our burden. And therefore that would make housing more affordable, easing the burden on local people. And the promise was, by the incumbent, we were going to get a 30% reduction in our local tax levies. And in fact, in one open meeting, the incumbent said the 30% was going to be the minimum reduction we could expect. And sadly, we all know, as we've gotten our 2020 tax bills, paid the first half here a month or so ago, that the property taxes are through the roof. They never went down, as we were promised in McCleary. So I'd like to go back and fight to deliver that property tax relief. Another unbelievable aspect, and very sad aspect, at the January City Town Hall meeting that all 3 of our elected reps held at the Port of Kamas-Washougal, the incumbent...
Went in January, right?
In January, yeah. You were there. You did a great job covering it. The incumbent admitted to a question from me in the audience about property taxes that the highest number of seniors who have lost their homes due to high property taxes was in the city of Kamas. And to me, that breaks my heart. It's absolutely horrible that government demanding money from people is causing citizens to lose their homes. And specifically in this case, it's our senior citizens, many of them on fixed incomes, that are losing their homes because government's demanding too much money. So I'd like to go back and fight for those seniors and actually fight for all of our citizens. Property taxes are too high, and we need to try and deliver property tax relief, which was the essence of the McCleary battle. It was that local citizens are paying too much and the state's not paying its fair share. So the solution is supposed to be to give a relief to the local property tax holders, and that's what I want to fight for.
Now, how does a John Lee senator operate in a legislature that's dominated by Democrats with a supermajority? How do you effectuate those things?
Well, I'm one of those people that believes the devil's in the details. And just like me digging into the roundabout or digging into the details of the Camas Pool bond issue, the devil's in the details. And ultimately, as you expose more of the details, you find the good and the bad. And when you bring it to light, amazingly in the Camas Pool bond, we found 90% of the citizens said, no, this is not a responsible use of our money. And so if I can bring that role to the state legislature and specifically the Senate, I think I'm going to find a lot of other senators that will agree with me if we ferret out waste or not wise spending of the people's money. Now, whether I can persuade a majority to stop bills or to modify bills for more efficient spending, we'll find out. But I'm happy to go dig into the details and shine the light of truth on that. And at the end of the day, I'm going to come back to my constituents and say, here's what I'm finding. Do you support this or not? And if they tell me to support it, I am the messenger of the people. I'm happy to support it. And if they say this is wasteful spending, I'm happy to stop and fight to kill it.